Oh, hello. Thank you for joining me. I'm Farrell, the author of the Danny Bird series of novels, and I wanted to welcome you to Farrell Friday, Farrell at the bar. I hope you've got your cocktails and I hope they're strong. That one is. I'm going to read tonight from Death of a Sinner, which is a novella I've written, which was published by Fahrenheit 69 as part of a two-hander with the fabulous Everything Happens by the equally fabulous Joe Perry. I'm going to begin with a little bit of the blurb because I think Fahrenheit outdid themselves on this one. Sinner's Palace is a reality TV show from the makers of The Real House Husbands of Colchester, Dairy Farm Lock-In and Suicide Vest Karaoke. The undisputed star of Sinners is Cartier Cobb, a glorious tabloid monster with a vicious tongue and a merciless bullying streak to match. While the cast are assembled for filming in the Marquis of Queensberry Public House, it emerges that there may be a murder in their midst, and naturally, Cartier Cobb is convinced that she is the target. Aware that the landlord of the pub also has a sideline as a reluctant amateur sleuth, Cartier insists that he helps uncover the murderer she's convinced is out to get her. So begins another adventure for Danny Bird and the unflappable Lady Kaz, as this time they strive to unmask a killer while navigating the sordid, petty and duplicitous world of reality TV. The story actually begins a few years before Cartier Cobb turns up at the Mark, and I'd like to read tonight from the prologue. Sylvia Plath Academy, Colchester, Essex, 2012. The shove sent her staggering forward, her hands reaching blindly out for something, anything, to stop the fall. But there was nothing within reach, and so she was left sprawling on the floor, the contents of her school bag scattering around her. Emily, her face already flaming in shame, swiveled around so that she was sitting on the ground looking up at her attacker. "What did you say about Nicki Minaj, you bitch?" Chrissy Cobb sneered down at the girl, who was now scrambling around, trying to get back on her feet. "Fat cow," Chrissy snarled, placing her foot deliberately and firmly on the textbook Emily was reaching for. Look at her. She addressed a trio of teenaged goons who were hanging back, each checking a different direction, ready to give the warning if a teacher appeared in the distance. For a second, they focused their attention on the girl on the floor, her eyes already filling with tears. One of them giggled even. Another sucked her teeth in disgust. "You want to lay off the pies, Em," Chrissy said, voice dripping in obviously fake solicitude. Emily's face blushed furiously again as she snatched at her pencil case, shoving it into her bag. "So go on," Chrissy demanded, eyes glittering with malice. "Say it to my face. Say what you said about Nicki Minaj, you fat cow." "I didn't say nothing," Emily said, abandoning the geography textbook that was still trapped beneath Chrissy's absolutely non-uniform Adidas and clambering to her feet. "Oh, look." Chrissy reached out and grabbed Emily's chin, pushing the frightened girl back against the wall. "She's crying." She paused, then hissed a demand. "Say what you said." "I'm not crying," Emily insisted, trying to pull away from the taller girl's grip. "And all I said was that her voice isn't as good as Adele's." "You what?" Chrissy pursed her lips. Her eyes glittered furiously, stoked by the heresy that had been repeated in front of her. "Well, it's true," Emily said. "She's not a singer. She doesn't have the voice of an Adele." "You know what else she doesn't have?" Chrissy sneered, glancing down at the slightly too tight grey skirt stretched over Emily's hips. "She doesn't have the blubbing either. You ever think losing a few pounds, Em? People might like you better if you did, 'cause nobody likes a sweaty, smelly fatty. Especially one who can't tell quality music from the radio 2-pap that bitch sings." "Adele's got talent," Emily answered, receiving a punch on the shoulder for her nerve. That was it. She'd had enough. She knew that Chrissy Cobb and her gang would string her up for what she was about to say, but for that millisecond, Emily didn't care. She was sick of being pushed around and bullied by these bitches. Adele's got more talent than that crappy rapper, and more talent than you, she said, paling as she heard the words coming from her own mouth. More talent than... Chrissy was almost speechless, her fury at this outrage leaving her goggling at the girl who had had the nerve to speak to her this way. The others, all giggling now, ceased, looked at one another in shock. I heard you at the Christmas concert last year, Emily went on. We all did. You couldn't carry a tune in a Tesco bag. I couldn't... Chrissy boggled, then grabbed at Emily's shirt front and dragged her across the hall and into the toilets, the goonettes in tow. I'm gonna fucking kill you, she snarled, as Emily struggled to escape the circle of girls. Chrissy kicked open the stall door. Bring her over here, she ordered the others, and Emily, realising something terrible was about to happen, finally made a mad, panicked rush for the exit, only for the taller of the three to shove her once again and send her sprawling to the floor. Vanity? Chrissy ordered another of the girls, this one smaller and with weaselly little eyes above a pronounced underbite. Watch the door. You two, bring her over here. Emily struggled as the other two grabbed her by the wrists and ankles. She opened her mouth to scream and choked as Chrissy stuffed a wad of toilet paper into it, gagging her. Now listen up, you fat bitch. Chrissy bent down so her lips were close to Emily's ear, her voice hard and dripping with disgust. Nicki Minaj is an artiste, a proper musician. Adele makes music for fucking lifts and is a fat, disgusting pig, just like you. She glanced into the stall and nodded at the other two, who giggled again and dragged the still struggling girl over to the toilet, forcing her head down into it as Chrissy reached across and pressed the flush button. And as for talent, Chrissy said, though the roar of water rushing over her head meant that Emily failed to hear a word, my name's Chrissy Cobb, and I'm going to be a star. Thank you for joining me. Chin chin. We'll get through this. Stay well.